Hello and welcome back. In Chapter 3 of the Bankers Masterclass series on the foundations of digital financial services, sponsored by Oracle, we're looking at the adoption of cloud technology in financial services. I'm Joy Macknight, editor of The Banker, and with me is Dominic Stewart, Senior Director, Cloud Engineering at Oracle UK. A lot of banks seem to have this mix between the multi-cloud environment on the one hand, but then also the hybrid cloud environment, which means both private and public cloud. How does, this provide more flexibility or agility to banks?
That is definitely the case. We see big financial institutions, people like Deutsche Bank, are making very big commitments in terms of something called Cloud at Customer that allow them to run in their own data centres, but take advantage of the cloud total cost of ownership. So we're definitely seeing that kind of hybrid operation that happen in reality. And it's to do with data sovereignty, and it's to do with regulatory imperatives, or just desire for what a strategy within the organisations. And it's also recognising that technology availability is not always aligned with business imperatives. So an organisation may not be ready to it, and if they are ready to move it from a technical perspective, they don't want to move just because technology is available. They want to move at the right time for their business. So having that flexibility of deployment is really key, as well as the other things I've mentioned. In terms of multi-cloud, multi-cloud has some fantastic advantage, and we are convinced of the value of it to the industry, to our customers, and certainly in financial services. And why is that? First of all, it allows for best-of-breed deployment. Not all clouds are the same. Our cloud's different to some of the other clouds available, and for good reason. They come from different places, and they support have different advantages. So having that flexibility and best-of-breed deployment model is one element. And then the other element is operational resilience, actually. The FCA have their operational resilience recommendations, and multi-cloud definitely plays a part in that.
Okay, and then you touched on it a wee bit there, but how does a cloud environment actually give banks access to best-of-breed technology?
Well, multi-cloud definitely help with that. I can speak for ourselves, and we have particular focus on things like audio MA performance for something called Oracle RAC, which is our multi-node database, because we think that's important for reasons of resilience and performance advantage. We have some technology that really helps with chatty applications, because we have a big applications business, both our SaaS applications and something called Applications Unlimited, which is the previous incarnation of the Oracle applications, and making sure that they run very well on our platform is key. But then those advantages roll out into general purpose advantage. So, for example, high performance compute, which is not related to any of that. We spoke to Red Bull, and Red Bull was so overwhelmed with the benefit of what we could do that they adopted, and that Red Bull Racing are very happy with the Oracle technology.
And then back to hybrid environment, a hybrid cloud environment, which obviously has private and public cloud. What are the challenges for banks to run those within their environment?
There are challenges there. It is a reality that all the organisations we speak to are on a journey, and they're not all going in the same direction in terms of private cloud and public cloud. So we think that both those deployment models will be deployed in perpetuity, actually. But in terms of what are the challenges, there is the technology one, making sure that the technology you deploy privately is also available in the cloud, and you don't have to pick up that risk in migrating between the two. I think also there is an element of security and availability, which is really front of mind with most FS organisations right at the moment.
So how does working with third parties really help sort of extend the private cloud's possibilities?
As I mentioned, private cloud is definitely something we seek to help with, and organisations are committed to. In financial services, as many are committed to private cloud as are committed to any other type of cloud, public cloud or otherwise. New partnerships are required to deliver to the business needs of our customers. So a couple that spring to mind is we've had a partnership with Microsoft Azure, and that gives us an interconnect, of course, so that we can have elements running in Azure and OCI. But it's not just the interconnect, it is the manageability, it is the security, so a shared security model, and support. So we don't get any kind of gap in support to the organisations that want to run that deployment model. And the other example I would call out is our agreement with VMware, so that people who have private clouds based on VMware technology can use those native tools to grow into a cloud vendor. It's unique because we have technically, there's something called a layer 2 kind of virtual network that we can set up. And what it means is all of it's not a migration. You can just use it for bursting or for transient loads or for DR.
Well, that's what I want to talk about next in the next chapter. So thank you so much for your insights. In chapter 4, we're going to be looking at disaster recovery in the cloud.